Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the Starline by a chef who once described his on-camera experience as 4.5 minutes stutter and sweat. Today, he's a chef, restaurateur, filmmaker, and host of Food Network's great food truck race, David versus Goliath. We welcome Tyler Florence.
Hey, buddy. How are you? Good morning.
Absolutely great, brother. Tyler, let's go beyond the mic. This year, it's David versus Goliath. What makes this season so fresh for the show?
So this is our 16th season. The show's been on for 14 years. So we have a great formula that people love. It's a great escapism. It's great family programming. Everyone can find a great team that they can gravitate towards and root for and root against, because sometimes there's some villains on the show. And we have so much fun doing it. So this season, we thought, okay, we've gone coast to coast. I don't know how many times. Now let's just see if rookies can stand up to the real industry. And so we have, out of 9 teams this season, we have 4 that are professional food truck operators that are the best of the best, going up against 5 rookie teams that are putting every single thing on the line this season. So it's just a great competition to see if David and Goliath can battle out and see what really comes out of it.
After 16 years of racing with the great food truck race, what's the one lesson that is the hardest for participants to conquer?
Well, my big advice to everybody, honestly, is to just do fewer, better dishes on their food truck. I think sometimes they'll come out with a menu that's too hard to prep, that it takes they take their focus off what their signature item is. And we had one truck, we had a bunch of trucks, but one truck in particular called Waffle Love out of Salt Lake City, Utah, that really nailed a great formula. And they just made Belgian Liège style waffles with like crunchy bits of sugar on the inside. And they made it from scratch. They made the dough every single day on the food truck, and you could smell the yeast starting to develop, especially when they put it on the waffle iron, because it started to smell like fresh baked bread coming off the food truck. And it was awesome. And every single special, every challenge we threw at them, boom, they just put it on a waffle. Or they dipped it in waffle batter and they sandwiched it inside of a waffle, or they used the waffle as like sandwich bread or something. But they really, really nailed the concept, and they got the challenge. They understood it, and they didn't win, but they got really, really far. And so that was my advice to every single food truck team: is do fewer, better dishes, and really kind of come out of this with what you would consider to be a signature dish that everyone's going to love.
Tyler Florence from the Great Food Truck Race joins us beyond the mic for the Rockin 8. Tyler, all this is 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. There is no pressure. What was your first motorcycle?
A Triumph Bonneville T100.
You believe failure is the path to success. What was the recipe that you failed at the most before you conquered it?
That's a great question. I think being picky about what we do want to do versus saying yes to everything.
What's the best thing about your children, and their traditional Father's Day gift to you is what?
My best thing about my children is watching them grow, because they're better people every single day, and you get to see your life lessons instilled in their values, because you always want to be your children's inner voice. And that's what we're really starting to develop, because my oldest is 26. And we have 2 teenage children, one that's about to go in the 10th grade. He plays football. He's 6'3". He's 220. And he is such a lovely, kind human being. And then our daughter, Dorothy, is 14. And she's her work ethic is so spectacular. She got straight A's. She's going to the 9th grade this year, and she's on a competitive dance team. So you kind of seeing this like hard work, because hard work, accomplishes goals, and you're seeing that with them through and through, which is kind of amazing. And the other great thing about Father's Day is, listen, I always need a new pair of socks. Everybody needs a new pair of socks all the time. So it's usually scrambled eggs. I usually get this like really kind of fantastic breakfast in bed, and you sleep late and you wait for that, because you know what's coming. Don't get up too early, because you're going to blow the surprise, but the surprise is coming. And I just can't wait to see, my color coordinated silly socks I'm going to get this year.
Why is your wife Tolan the perfect fit for you?
We've been together seemingly forever. And I just love her so much, because, in life, when you get a chance to go on this journey with someone, and then there's a mind meld, that happens with just pure love and trust, with a great relationship with a great partner, that through thick and thin, and the thick stuff happens, and the good times and bad times, there's always going to be somebody there by your side that just gets you as a human being, and vice versa. And she's my best friend and my life partner, and she's amazing.
What's the one tool, the one kitchen item a beginner should stock their kitchen with?
Well, I'm going to say a knife because I think that's really important, because I think you can cut on a bunch of things, but I think if you had to boil down to one thing, I think investing in a really good kitchen knife is going to make you feel like a good chef.
Favorite meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Dinner all day long, because I'm on this like fasting thing, which is kind of wild. I intermittent fast, so so somewhere between 60 and 20 hours a day, I eat nothing. So by the time dinner rolls around, I'm ready to eat a small animal with my face.
Tyler, if you could cook with any chef across the span of time for one dish, who would it be and what would you cook?
Paul Bocuse, I never got a chance to meet the guy. I'm a huge fan of him and what he did in Lyon and for France, and the Bocuse d'Or, which is now like the World Culinary Competition. And in particular, he makes a truffle soup and puff pastry, which is, I think, the pinnacle of perfection and consistency, because it's like this. If you just look it up, Paul Bocuse, truffle soup, Lyon. That's the dish. That's the chef. That's the guy.
Which chef would be a good matchup for you in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
That's a really good question, because there's a small little fight club of chefs that train Jiu-Jitsu, which is kind of fun. And I'm working on my blue belt now. But I don't know. Bring it. Let's go, man. Let's roll them out.
It's time for one big question with Tyler Florence from the great food truck Race Beyond the Mic. Tyler, how has the show changed you, and what have you learned from this experience?
I've learned that, honestly, I've got a lot to offer a lot of young teams, and I think off camera, that's the most satisfying part of the show, is to share my life knowledge of the restaurant industry, because it scales up and it scales down. And I think there's some basic principles of hospitality that we always want to cherish, and that's a super high quality product. That's the sense of hospitality where you really genuinely appreciate their business, and also a competitive nature, that you realize that your food is either commercially competitive or not. And so the story arc between where we start with the show and somewhere around mid-season, all the food on the food truck gets really good. And I'm really proud of that, because I get a chance to give them tasting notes along the way and things that I would do differently, or some opportunities to create some new dishes, and to watch the teams really blossom and turn into just powerhouses, not only internally, but really, really competitive.
He loves dinner, silly socks from his kids, and wants you to watch the great food truck race, David versus Goliath. Tyler Florence, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
My pleasure, Sean, man. Good to see you, brother. Thank you so much.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut.